Good afternoon and welcome to these very special awards, the Nayler Awards for Excellence in Church Maintenance. I am Luke March. I chair the National Churches Trust, which is a national charity for people who love church buildings. Our work is dedicated to supporting the 40,000 churches, chapels and meeting houses which are open for regular worship across the whole of the UK. Many are of historic and architectural importance and also hold community events. I am joining you from the wonderful St Mary Magdalene in Paddington, a church which we have supported for quite a number of years. I would like to give a very warm welcome to representatives from churches and chapels across the UK and friends of the National Churches Trust who are joining us today. Congratulations to everyone nominated for the Nayler Awards. Today marks the start of Maintenance Week, a very fitting day for this event, where we celebrate the incredible effort of volunteers across the country to maintain our national collection of church buildings. There is more and more evidence that maintenance is crucial to keeping church buildings in good condition and open. Very importantly, it will also save large sums of money and time in the long run. As well as giving grants for maintenance, the National Churches Trust provides a great deal of useful information in support of people looking after their church building. Do visit our website and see if we can be of help to you. Today is a celebration of all the excellent work that happens at churches and chapels across the UK. Members of the National Churches Trust team will guide us through the afternoon and tell us more. This year they are doing this from St Giles in Wrexham, whose tower is considered to be one of the 7 wonders of Wales and is therefore well worth a visit. We will also hear from partners, as well as from last year's winner, Christ Church in Sowerby Bridge. We welcome our colleagues from the Pilgrim Trust, who provide the generous funding for these awards, and from the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings. We will hear from both later, but I'd just like to give a personal thanks to the Pilgrim Trust. We've worked together for many years and are very grateful for the support they have given towards our work in promoting maintenance in churches and indeed much more. We look forward to meeting Sue Bowers, Director of the Pilgrim Trust, and Georgina Nayler, former Director and after whom these awards are named. Sue was a member of our judging panel, together with Caroline Maguire of the Department for Communities in Northern Ireland, and Shirley Adams, a fellow trustee of the National Churches Trust. So before we go over to Wrexham, don't forget, if you are looking for a Christmas present for a friend who loves churches, do consider gifting them membership of the Friends of the National Churches Trust. They will receive a wonderful hardback book with glorious photos of church buildings. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Luke. My name's Nigel.
And I'm Sarah.
And my name's Emily.
And it's wonderful to be with you today. We are really looking forward to guiding you through this awards ceremony. But it's not just us with you today, we're also joined by the wider team, aren't we, Emily?
That's right, Nigel. We'd love for you to join in the discussion today. So if you tap or click on the icon with the chat box on it, then that should open a sidebar and you'll be able to post your comments and thoughts throughout the chat. Our team will be there monitoring it, so we'd love to hear your thoughts today.
We're joining you this afternoon from St Giles, Wrexham, which is an incredible town centre church in North Wales. It's really very much loved and really well used. We've seen lots of people through the building today as we've been filming. Before we join Revd Dr Jason Bray, who is the vicar here, for a good Welsh welcome, we'd just like to take you on a 90-second journey around Wales to look at some of the amazing sacred heritage that there is here.
Croeso mawr I Eglwys y Plwy San Cillian in Wrexham. Great to welcome you to St Giles Parish Church here in Wrexham. Really happy that the National Churches Trust has chosen to present this year's Nayler Awards from our wonderful church. Maintenance in a building like this is really tough and a constant challenge, so we're very grateful to the Pilgrim Trust for championing and celebrating the good work done by volunteers across the UK. I'm going to show you a few of our gems here at St Giles. Some of them you may know, some of them you may not know, but thank you very much for joining us today. Diolch yn fawr iawn. One of my favourite things about this church are the musical angels on the ceiling. They've been here since about 1490 and seem to be part of a rebuilding programme that was undertaken in the time of Margaret Beaufort. They are really quite spectacular. There's a whole sort of orchestra above my head. One of the things that we try to do in our Festival of Angels that's ongoing at the moment is to sort of almost like recreate that idea of the host of angels coming down into the church itself. The feature at the back of the church of a cascade of angels coming down from the interior of the tower reminds us of the idea from Genesis when Jacob had a dream and saw the angels ascending and descending from heaven. One of our particular treasures is this monument to Mary Middleton, who died in 1747. It's by the French Baroque sculptor Louis Roubiliac, who sculpted very many monuments like this, and some of them in Westminster Abbey. It's particularly fine and in its day cost about the same amount as a country house. So it was exceedingly expensive in its day and is rather glorious now. And so this is the tower that Luke was talking about, one of the 7 wonders of Wales. It's 136 feet high and amazingly still has most of its medieval statuary still on it. It really is absolutely astonishing. One of our gems here at St Giles that a lot of people don't usually see are the sedilia. The sedilia behind me, they are 14th century and they show what appears to be the life cycle of a green man going from leaf at this end all the way across to a harvest face at the other end. Again, an absolutely extraordinary thing in this wonderful building.
Thank you, Revd Bray, for that wonderful welcome and tour of this church. It really is an incredible building and we very much recommend that you come and visit when you can, especially if you can make it whilst this Festival of Angels is on.
Now, as you're aware, at the National Churches Trust, we are strong advocates for the proactive maintenance and inspection of your church buildings. It's an integral part of all our grant processes that we insist upon a maintenance checklist, so we can see that you are looking after your church buildings. Last year, we worked in partnership with the Society for Protection of Ancient Buildings and Historic England to produce 5 new films, which bring to life all maintenance aspects of the building. There's also an associated checklist, which the videos go through. And I'm delighted to welcome James Ennerdale, who will introduce the films.
Remember, you can watch these films on YouTube at any time, and we'll share the links to the playlist in the chat now.
Hello and welcome to this introduction to the new maintenance checklist for places of worship, created by Historic England, the National Churches Trust and the SPAB. As the person on site, you are likely to be the first to notice changes that could indicate defects, and this checklist is a handy guide to help you monitor the fabric of your building. We've also created a series of videos to accompany the checklist to assist your maintenance planning. The 5 videos follow the sections of the checklist which covers roofs, rainwater goods, the exterior and interior of the church and building services. Each video is a walkthrough of the common repair and maintenance issues to look out for in your place of worship. You'll need some equipment. Binoculars, camera, clipboard and gloves or gauntlets are always very handy. Each video outlines what you might need for completing each area of focus on the checklist, and please remember to take every health and safety precaution, especially when working at height or on your own. The link between volunteers, professionals, contractors and advisors is a vital one. Your place of worship will likely have an architect or a surveyor who undertakes regular building inspections. These inspections are usually every 5 years and can be called quinquennial inspections or sometimes a QI. The QI is, though, a record of a moment in time and not a maintenance plan, and a lot can happen between inspections. The information you collect using this checklist and the accompanying videos should help to inform your everyday maintenance routine. Some volunteers carry out most regular maintenance tasks, while others choose to use a contractor for some tasks, such as working at height. If you're unsure, your professional advisor can offer guidance on what work might need a contractor. We hope you find these videos a useful companion to the maintenance checklist. These videos have been funded by Historic England. A full series can be found on the SPAB's YouTube channel or on their website.
Thank you, James. We welcome next Sue Bowers, Director of the Pilgrim Trust. We are incredibly grateful to Pilgrim, not only for their financial support of these awards, but also our maintenance grants, which enable volunteers to keep historic buildings in great shape. We have had a long relationship with Pilgrim, and many churches across the whole of the UK are in much better condition because of this wonderful close friendship.
Hello, my name is Sue Bowers and I'm the Director of the Pilgrim Trust. It was a great pleasure to review the submissions for the Nayler Awards for a second year. And firstly, on behalf of the judging panel, we would like to thank all the churches who made the effort to submit an entry. Given how hard the last couple of years have been, the fact that you took time out to think about the maintenance and put in a submission was an achievement in itself, and we really appreciated it. There were lots of good ideas and lots of good practice running through the applications, and I just want to spend a minute highlighting some of the good practice and talking about a couple of areas where we'd like to see more focus in future applications. So firstly, the best entries were the ones where maintenance was a well-organised team effort involving a wide range of people. So that might be the architect, the vicar, the church wardens, the volunteers, and the wider congregation. Everyone has a role to play. Don't leave it to one heroic individual, and don't leave it to the professionals. And let people know about the work that's going on and celebrate it. It's so valuable. Maintenance plans themselves come in all shapes and sizes, but templates are available from the National Churches Trust. We weren't looking for any particular format, but the ones that we really liked were those which were easy to follow, costed, tracked progress and gathered a bit of data, and which had the sense of being used. A couple of churches talked about how they collaborated with other churches in the vicinity, and actually indeed with other community facilities, and we thought that was a great idea. So one church shared floor scrubbers with its village hall, and another church had enlisted the services of some young people who were doing their Duke of Edinburgh Award to help with the maintenance. And finally, a couple of areas where we'd like to see a bit more focus in future years. They were a bit silent in the applications. Firstly, succession planning. It's so important to pass on that expertise and knowledge and experience in maintenance to others, and to recruit new volunteers. And finally, and very topically, carbon planning. It's time that we think more about the sustainable solutions that we can adopt to help reach net zero. So lots to think about, but lots to celebrate as well. I'm delighted that the Pilgrim Trust will be supporting these awards for at least the next 2 years, and I very much look forward to seeing even higher quality submissions next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Some people might wonder why we're so concerned about maintenance. Well, good regular maintenance helps preserve our wonderful historic buildings. It helps stave off the need to do major repairs in the future, and it conserves the original materials. But probably more critically for churches and volunteers, it is actually the most cost-effective solution long term. A recent report commissioned by Historic England on the importance of maintenance concluded that
delaying repairs and maintenance can increase costs by some 15 or 20%. As grant funders, we want to make sure that buildings are regularly maintained and that any investment that we make is actually going to be well looked after. Unfortunately, we can't fund all churches, so therefore we want to make sure that we are investing in those churches where it's about exploration of materials rather than problems caused by putting off repairs. To celebrate maintenance and to recognise the fantastic effort that volunteers are putting in throughout the country, we partnered up with Pilgrim in 2019 to put on the first Maintenance Awards.
In our eyes, good maintenance practice is inspirational. Now, you might not think that those two words go together, but if anyone can prove otherwise, it's our winners from last year. So now we're going to hear from Christchurch Sowerby Bridge in Yorkshire.
Hi. Last year we were delighted to receive the Nayler Award for church maintenance. Christchurch Sowerby Bridge opened in 1821 and is Grade 2 listed, but we know that it needs to meet today's expectations of comfort and access to be of real use to the town in its next 200 years. So, the PCC decided to reserve part of the award to fund the 2021 quinquennial inspection and any urgent work needing to be done when we receive the report. In particular, we used the Maintenance Booker service for a professional survey as well as gutter clearing because it gave our architect a full photographic view of the condition of the roof in areas we cannot reach ourselves. During the winter lockdown, we've installed a digital streaming system and are now able to film and broadcast our services. This included a new digital hearing loop so everyone can now hear clearly, no matter where they're sitting in church. Looking further into the future, we're using the rest of the award to explore a way of providing easier access through our listed graveyard for those with poor mobility. We've just completed an archaeological survey and test pit digging along the potential route, and the report shows it's likely to be possible. So now we're quantifying the cost and looking for funding to help us provide this ramped path for wheelchair and pushchair users. We hope this is an investment in our future. Thank you.
My top tip as the vicar is to have fabric and maintenance as a standing item on every PCC agenda. Then we collectively agree what the priorities are and timescales for all maintenance work. That's proved very helpful for us at Christchurch.
My name is David Gill and I'm one of the church wardens at Christchurch Sowerby Bridge. I think that working together with suppliers of services helps us to maintain the church building and its grounds in good condition. We have built up a really good working relationship with our architect, Calderdale Bereavement Services and the Green Team Forester. We get good advice from our architect, not only during but after our quinquennial report. We prioritise work that needs doing first on the building and its grounds. Then Calderdale Bereavement Services and the Green Team Forester give us advice on how to maintain the grounds, plants and our trees. Overall, this helps our church to look really good. The only way we can do all this work is to have a wonderful team of volunteers. We make all the work that we do as fun as possible. This is as diverse as deep cleaning the inside of church to weeding and trimming grass. One of the nicest jobs that we do is to keep the fall pipes from blocking up and clearing rotting leaves and vegetation out of the soak-away grating.
Thank you so much to everyone there. They really are an inspiration, aren't they?
They are. We know that many of you are eagerly awaiting to hear whether your church has won one of our awards. We had an incredible number of nominations this year and they were all really inspiring. A really broad selection of lots of local people putting in an intense amount of work to keep our historic buildings in great condition. We really want to send you a heartfelt thanks to every single one. We'll go over now to Georgina Nayler, who is going to announce our winners today.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to have been asked to present these awards again this year. I'm sorry that we're not meeting in person, but actually it makes it easier for churches from all over the country to participate without the need for time-consuming and expensive travel. Last year, when presenting these awards, I said I was passionate about maintenance. A slightly unusual passion, I know, but proactive maintenance can save enormous expense and preserve precious historic fabric. This year, I want to give a big thank you to all the volunteers who have rolled up their sleeves to maintain their local church. I've been told by the judges for this year's awards that it was marvellous to see so many volunteers with a genuine commitment and passion for the maintenance of their buildings. Volunteers play a hugely important role in churches, not least in looking after the building itself, whether it be cleaning the interior or rodding the drains. We are all so grateful for every hour that they spend on these tasks, whether it be doing it themselves, i.e. fighting back over-enthusiastic vegetation, or organising professional partners to do some of the more complicated or high-level works. I'm therefore really pleased to be announcing these awards, which recognise how much volunteers do. I'm going to be announcing a winner and 2 runners-up. Each will receive prize money from the Pilgrim Trust to use for the upkeep of their church. Each will also receive a pack containing a certificate, commemorative plaque, and information about how to promote their award. Overall this year, the judging was very tight. The judges particularly liked it where they could see a wider group of people involved and a clear succession strategy. The awards and the applications really highlight how volunteers are doing a very good job at looking after hugely complex buildings with a variety of needs. This year, as last year, we have 2 runners-up. Our first runner-up is All Saints Shillington in Bedfordshire. They will receive £2,500 in prize money. Named by Sir John Betjeman as the Cathedral of the Chilterns, All Saints Church is a Grade 1 listed ironstone and clunch building. The judges could see how maintenance is an integral part of the whole church structure and not just an add-on. They were also impressed by the balance of looking after the building as well as the living churchyard. There is something for everyone to get involved in. Many congratulations to them.
Welcome to All Saints Shillington, 14th century Grade 1 listed church in the Chilterns, in fact named by Sir John Betjeman as the Cathedral of the Chilterns. So it's a very large church with quite a small congregation, but we're very, very fortunate to have a vast army of volunteers, both from the community and the congregation, who help to keep this church in good shape. Whether they're doing the mowing, the churchyard, the clearing the drains and gutters, cleaning the church, replacing the light bulbs, or whether it's helping with the design of new arrangements, such as the bell ringing platform that I'm now standing on, which was put in some years ago to create a space for a kitchen and toilet downstairs so that we can host people in the church much more effectively. We're absolutely delighted to receive this award. It's going to make a huge difference both in the recognition of all the work that goes in and in helping us to just keep moving forward with our regular maintenance projects while we're spending rather larger amounts of money on our major projects. We were prompted in 2017 by the National Churches Trust to put together a formal maintenance plan as part of a grant application we're making, and we're very grateful for that. We were able to use the checklist from the National Churches Trust to create that plan and calendar of maintenance that we now have a fabric committee chaired by the rector, church wardens, members of the Friends Committee. We're very fortunate to have a local architect who's a member of that committee and able to give us real expert advice. So that's now in place and helping us to manage these things much more professionally, perhaps, than we might otherwise have been able to do. Looking ahead, we have a major project to resurface the stonework at the back of the church, the west wall that's been crumbling, and then further plans for renewing the pew decking and creating space in the side aisles of the church. So, massive amount to do, but lots of optimism in doing it. So, once again, hugely grateful to everybody who supports us in this work, including the National Churches Trust and the Pilgrim Trust. This fund is going to just give us that extra buffer for the unexpected that happens all the time, like the latest roof leaks appearing during our service last Sunday with water dripping on the congregation, or indeed the repair that we've had to do recently to the stays of our beautiful weather vane on the top of the tower. So, masses to do, hugely supported, and thank you very much.
Also, many congratulations to our second runner-up, who will also receive £2,500. St Andrew, Harberton in Devon is a 15th century building set in a beautiful, tranquil space in its churchyard in the centre of the village. Here, the judges were impressed by a simple but very clear maintenance plan, which, although filled in by hand, felt like it was used and guided the work that was being done. It just goes to show you don't need to overcomplicate things. The church also demonstrated very clearly how it looks after its volunteers with clear policies and risk assessments. It's wonderful to see their journey from having no maintenance policies in 2016 to where they are today, winning one of our awards. Very well done.
Hello, I'm Alicia Stolliday and I'm the church warden at St Andrew's Church, Harberton. Harberton is in the South Hams of Devon, about 2 miles from Totnes. The PCC and the Harberton community are enormously grateful to the National Churches Trust and the Pilgrim Trust for recognising our efforts in the Nayler Award for Excellence in Church Maintenance this year. I'm sure we represent the efforts of hundreds of churches up and down the country. Looking after a church is a major undertaking. Harberton's most outstanding feature is the large church and its tall tower. It really is the focal point of the village. About 4 years ago, we realised that the size of our task was becoming overwhelming. We formed a charity, the Harberton Church Community Fund, to draw the whole community into caring for the church with time, talents, and enormously enjoyable fundraising events. Good organisation and record keeping has helped us to keep our maintenance efforts focused. Our enthusiastic maintenance team of over 20 volunteers in the village work hard to keep gutters and roofs clear, stop jackdaws making a mess of the belfry, clear drains and gullies, and take care of the churchyard. Good maintenance can free us to create and then implement our vision for the future of the church in our community. We still have our problems, of course. As I speak, the church is festooned with scaffolding so that our church architect, John Scott, can investigate the ceiling and roof to find out what is causing ceiling panels to fail. Nevertheless, We know that good maintenance will help us to prevent serious problems in the future, so that we can both protect our heritage and widen the contribution that this special church can make to the people within the community. This very welcome award will help us to maintain the tower roof and repair lead gullies, and we accept it also as an acknowledgement of our efforts. This alone encourages us to keep going.
Now to this year's winner. The judges thought that there was one entry in particular which exemplified excellent maintenance, practice and management. The church has a good maintenance plan which is easy to follow and shows that it is being used on a regular basis. It's a real living document. The church makes very good use of volunteers and actively tries to include everyone in its maintenance mornings. There are even bacon butties to keep everybody going. Overall, the applications and the activities felt very real to the judges. They explained all the difficulties they are facing in maintaining an old building, but they have good practical solutions which they are seeing through. I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the award of £7,500 for good maintenance in 2021 is the beautiful Victorian church, St Matthew in Surbiton, Surrey. Many, many congratulations to our winner.
Hello, I'm the Revd Helen Hancock, and can I welcome you to St Matthew's Church, Surbiton. Can I say how delighted we are to have received the Nayler Award for Excellence in Church Maintenance from the National Churches Trust. In the last 2 or 3 years, we had to complete a significant tower and spire project, and that really helped us to not only appreciate our building, but particularly the heritage. We're doing much more inviting our community in to share the heritage of our building, but also it's helped us to realise that we have to keep a regular maintenance plan going, one that's been costed and one that's largely driven and committed to by our volunteer workforce. We have volunteers with all different skills, like the body of Christ in 1 Corinthians 12. Everybody's working towards helping this church continue to be a beacon of light in the parish. We have occasional Saturday morning maintenance mornings when people come along and help share in the work. They may just be looking after hymn books, whereas other people are doing major works on plumbing and other maintenance. We all enjoy the odd bacon butty to help us, and the sociability of these occasions has helped so much, particularly during lockdown, when they were allowed, of course, with social distancing.
So many aspects of church life feed into our maintenance plan. We've recently started a community cafe, and so the latest efforts of one of our volunteers has been to plumb in a dishwasher to make that community cafe all the easier to run. Also, we have been thinking about eco-church and how that mission imperative links with our maintenance and how we can look after our building in a way that is going to benefit the planet. This is the view from about 60 feet up our 170-foot tower and spire. And here are the bells within the tower. The refurbishment of the bells was part of our Tower and Spire project. That was helpfully funded in part by the National Heritage Lottery Fund and other funders, and we continue to be grateful to them. Perhaps you can see at the back we've got cameras, which allows people who can't manage the many, many steps up here to enjoy watching our bells being played. This is another example of how we're using our building to benefit the community, and that can only happen for as long as the building is in a good and safe state of repair. The maintenance plan we use isn't one that we've made up from scratch. We borrowed somebody else's, why reinvent the wheel? But we've used it and modelled it so it works for our church, and I'm grateful to the church wardens who have the monthly responsibility of ticking off the right boxes.
Tower and spire, check the light bulbs and switches and smoke alarms. So if we do the one in the 6th room first and look at that.
What about the plumbing? Check the leaks, clear flow.
Well, that's okay, we've got a plumber, so
that's true.
He can look at that.
Kitchen tap, which we did last year, which is good.
Okay. So
So I want to thank the National Churches Trust so much. As many of you will know, it's a huge responsibility to be looking after a building of this age and of this character. And so it's a real encouragement to have received this award. It's helpful to have the money, thank you for that too. But most of all, as I say, it's the encouragement that what we're doing really adds to the life of our community and our nation in looking after the heritage of our buildings. Thank you.
And this is what happened when we gatecrashed their PCC meeting on Tuesday evening to share the good news.
Well, I am delighted to welcome to our meeting both Sarah Crossland, who is the Engagement Manager, and Claire Walker, who is the Chief Executive of the National Churches Trust. And I wanted to hand over at this point in the meeting to Claire, who has something to say to us. Claire, hello.
Yes, hello, good evening everybody. I'm actually very pleased to see you all. Actually do live very near, so if it hadn't been a Zoom meeting, I would have been able to come in person. But I'm hoping that I might be able to come and visit your church soon on another occasion. So I'm only in Kingston actually. But yeah, I'm the Chief Executive of the National Churches Trust, and I wanted to, hopefully that you all know that your church are aware that has been entered for our Maintenance Awards, which is now an annual event, and the Maintenance Award, which is called the Nayler Awards, which is for excellence in church maintenance. So I've wanted to, firstly say that the judges have been looking at all the different entries for this year, and the judges in particular have loved how your church involves a wide range of people in its care, and the fact that they actually really valued the fact that this is a really well cared for building that you're looking after, and because of that it's enabling you to do all the exciting and engaging activities that St Matthew's provides for all of its flock congregation. And the film that we've seen of your church is actually lovely. I've loved that. As I say, I do look forward to visiting you soon. But I have actually come tonight to tell you the excellent news that the judges have declared that St Matthew's is the winner of this year's award.
Hey!
And so we'll be able to give you the wonderful, I hope, wonderful prize, which will really help the church, of £7,500.
Way!
And very kindly donated by the Pilgrim Trust, and the Pilgrim Trust works with us to support maintenance. The trustees of the Pilgrim Trust are very, very keen on maintenance. They realise the absolute importance, the critical importance of keeping a building well maintained, and like a stitch in time saves 9, if you like. And so they really want to commend you on the efforts and to reward you and to give you this prize. And it's my pleasure to tell you that you are the winners of the 2021 Nayler Awards.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Great news. The treasurer's looking particularly pleased. But we're all delighted, Claire. Thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
Yeah. An absolutely great result.
Hello, I'm Claire Walker, Chief Executive of the National Churches Trust. And a very heartfelt well done to all the award winners for 2021. And I'd like to join Luke March and all my team in thanking the Pilgrim Trust for supporting this event. We're here to celebrate the local efforts that keep our churches and chapels open and serving their communities. At the National Churches Trust, we provide holistic help to support local people who are primarily all volunteers. One of our main aims is to promote the wonder and the value of church buildings to everyone right across the UK and indeed across the world. Our recent Experiencing Sacred Wales project shared the stories of places of worship across Wales. St Giles, as you've seen, is one of those glorious places, but there are also tiny windswept chapels and glorious non-conformist buildings. I urge you to visit when you can. This month, we launched a national debate to highlight the social, economic, spiritual, community and heritage benefits of churches via our new Future of Church Buildings report. We can help safeguard the future of the UK's local churches, and we want you to take part as well. Many of you joining us today are remarkable for all that you do to keep your church, your house of good, in good repair and open, ensuring that it'll be there for future generations to enjoy. We really recognise the effort, the time and the money that this takes. Thank you to our nominees and to all of the audience members who care for churches and chapels. Your efforts are appreciated. They're appreciated now, and they will benefit so many over the years to come. A very great thank you to our friends and supporters who've joined us today. Your support makes such a huge difference to local churches throughout the UK. But despite your generosity, the National Churches Trust can only currently meet 1 in 4 of the requests for help that we receive. We continue to work hard to raise more funding, and we work with sector partners, the government, and organisations whose remit includes church buildings. And we continue to champion these magnificent buildings and promote them amongst the wider public. Many churches, as you know, have been here for hundreds of years, and they've withstood everything that life has thrown at them to date. Please join us to help ensure that these buildings may remain sustainable and can withstand whatever life throws at them next. Thank you.
Well, that brings us to a close for today. Thank you from our entire team for joining us. A heartfelt congratulations to all of our winners, but also to all of the nominated churches, chapels and meeting houses. An incredible thank you to our supporters, including the Pilgrim Trust, who enable our work to continue. But most of all, thank you to all the dedicated church volunteers who keep these amazing buildings in such wonderful repair across the whole of the country. For you, we are most grateful.
Thank you.
Diolch.